You're watching Pyro Media Network. Hello, Pyro Media family. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience with us is fruitful. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. And we do hope you consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
What is going on, Mavericks? We are back with another episode of the Unusual Mavericks. I'm your host, Kwame, joined by the handsome, the melanin proficient, the bearded one, just Dominic. What is going on?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good. Looks like Keats Reynolds is in the building. What's up, Keats? Thank you so much for joining. He says, hey, Mavericks, it's funny because she played Maxine Shaw's mother, and Maxine's nickname was Maverick. Oh, okay. All right. Yes, you're already getting into the CCH Pounder. We're going to be talking about her today. Looking forward to getting more information on her. And we'll get to her in just a bit. But before we do, you guys know we have our special time that we call the Maverick Alert. So without further ado, y'all, let's get into the Maverick Alert as soon. Oh, there it is. Yes, we are here. Okay, so let's get to hey, Dr. Ho, what's going on? I made it back just in time. All right now. All right. I'm glad you made it back safely, sir. All right. So and shout out to Dr. Holt's students who they did not win the championship, but they made it to the championship, and they're still winners in our book. So shout out to Dr. Holt and his students. So let's get into some Maverick stuff. First up, let me pull up my notes here. There we go. First up, Marvel Studios announces record high episode count for newest show. So the first Marvel Studios project of 2024 looks to outdo its Disney Plus predecessors with a record-breaking number of episodes. Set to debut on Wednesday, March 20th, which I'm here for, X-Men 97 is Marvel Studios' anticipated revival of the X-Men, the animated series. From the 1990s and the latest non-MCU canon project from Marvel Animation. According to a Disney Plus press release, the first season of X-Men 97 consists of 10 episodes, breaking the current record for the longest Marvel Studios produced season with a weekly release schedule. Disney Plus also recently confirmed that X-Men 97 will debut with 2 episodes when it premieres on March 20th. Here are the lengths of every Marvel Studios season on Disney. So far, that was shady of me. WandaVision at 9 episodes, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier at 6 episodes, Loki at 6 episodes, What If season 1 at 9 episodes, Hawkeye at 6 episodes, Moon Knight at 6 episodes, Miss Marvel at 6 episodes, I Am Groot at 5 episodes, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law at 9 episodes, Secret Invasion at 6 episodes, I Am Groot season 2 5 episodes. Loki season 2, 6 episodes, as well as What If season 2, 9 episodes, and Echo at 5 episodes. What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, Marvel, hasn't been known to have long seasons. Ooh, wow.
That's you.
Thank you for their series. We all know that they usually turn a movie into a show, a series.
Yeah.
They just cut a movie into episodes. So it's like the old X-Men 97 had what, like 20, 25 episodes. So in comparison to all of the other seasons, I think the last season of X-Men only had 10 episodes as well, the final season. So this isn't really unusual for this series.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it made news.
Yeah, I think what's also interesting is I think it made news because people are really anticipating X-Men 97. I know you and I both are huge X-Men fans of the original series. So this is a really big deal for Marvel geeks and even just X-Men fans. But I think we're also just kind of craving for something better for Marvel, and we're hoping that we have high expectations for this Marvel series, and this could potentially lead to spin-offs of characters that we want, like Storm having a solo series or some type of, just do, energy towards the show. And we're getting Bishop. Bishop hasn't was only in a certain, season or limited season rather for X-Men, the animated series. So seeing more Black characters is really, really, really dope. So just seeing that Bishop is going to have a bigger kind of role is going to be really, really cool. So and then also something else that came up was 10 harsh realities of watching X-Men, the animated series, 27 years after it ended. So X-Men, the animated series, is remembered fondly, but X-Men 97 will have to make some changes to avoid its mistakes. X-Men 97 promises to revive the continuity of X-Men, the animated series, but the original cartoon had some missteps that will need to be corrected. The long-awaited return of the beloved franchise has many Marvel fans looking back fondly on the 90s animated series, which still holds up today as one of the best X-Men cartoons ever made. From its iconic rock theme song to its riveting characters, X-Men the animated series made Marvel's mutants popular long before the movies did. The quirky and eclectic cast of mutants that made up the X-Men was one of the franchise's biggest draws from the beginning, and X-Men the animated series introduced many fans to these characters for the first time. Looking back objectively, some of the voice performances the series chose to go with for certain characters can get grating fast. In particular, the biracial characters like Gambit and his intermittent Cajun accent and the biracial Rogue's southern drawl can wear on the ears after significant exposure, coming off as cheap Black stereotypes and culturally inappropriate. So for as groundbreaking and faithful to the comics as the series could be, at the end of the day, X-Men the animated series was limited and whitewashed by being a Saturday morning suburban kid-friendly cartoon. The X-Men are an inherently political story touching on themes like racism, discrimination, and bigotry. One of the best examples is limiting Storm, the most powerful X-Men, once worshipped as a literal goddess. It's no wonder that Storm has had a rotation of prolific love interests in the comics befitting to her station. Rather than incorporating the likes of Thor, Black Panther, or even Doctor Doom into their show, X-Men the animated series instead paired Storm with a C-list planet-conquering dictator Archon. I remember that, which diminished her character by having her fall for a nobody. At least Storm nearly destroying his planet almost makes up for the delusion of her intelligence and her strength. What changes would you like to see in the upcoming season? What changes would you like to see in the upcoming season, Jetsamina?
Crazy part about this, I am rewatching X-Men, the last 2 seasons of X-Men. In season, if it's 5 seasons, I just finished watching the conclusion of season 4, which she had this crazy relationship with this Archon person. He came and just kidnapped her. And it was really bizarre that how the story was written. It's like she wasn't powerful enough to take him down in the beginning, but yet she was powerful enough to destroy his world, and she could not see through his thinly veiled disguise.
Yeah.
It was very, I was just watching this, like, who is this guy? I hope I never see or hear from him again.
Ever again.
I don't know why, because in the comic books, a lot of people don't realize that she had a love affair with Thor, which makes perfect sense. They're both godlike characters.
Yeah.
And then being married to Black Panther as well, a king. She is royalty, and they kind of diminished her. I would like to see a full-on biracial representation of Gambit and Rogue. We all know in the comic books, we heard that they were originally Black. They were Cajun or Creole, so they should be biracial.
Well, Gambit was Cajun and Creole, and Rogue was actually like Black. Like I don't understand. Like I get it. Like, we understand like what the time frame was back then, right? We understand the whitewashing and things. It's different now, but I hope that they utilized the platform that our parents' generation and even your generation like even helped to push this, what we have today. And I hope that they're able to provide Gen Z and even Gen Alpha with better representation for cartoons, because these are really great characters. And the overall theme of X-Men was about like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, right? We had Professor X, who was supposed to portray Martin Luther King, and we had Magneto, who was supposed to portray or have the characteristics of Malcolm X and what we know them as. So
they're all white,
and they're all white for whatever reason.
We're talking about two Black men, right? Right, and then everybody's white. And so I understand what they mean by saying that here they are, two voice actors who are white, who are trying to be Southern and have this kind of urban type of sound to them. It did come off kind of corny.
Yeah, it was very corny, but it is what it is.
Still loved it, right? We didn't know any better.
Still loved it, absolutely, because I was super young at the time, when it even came out, so I was just excited to see the characters that I've been reading in comic books. But I'm hoping that we can move the pedestal forward when it comes to representation and the accuracy of what the goal for X-Men was. So we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to March 20th. I'm actually excited that you are rewatching X-Men. I started rewatching it from the beginning. Because I have a tendency to go to the Phoenix Saga because that's one of my favorite sagas or favorite things. So I wanted to watch it from the very beginning. So I started it a week or so ago. So I don't know where you're at with it, but I'm really excited about.
I'm somewhere halfway through season 5.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But there are only 10 episodes in that last season. Yeah, but just like you, I rewatched the Phoenix Saga, and then the Dark Phoenix Saga, and then the Apocalypse Saga as well. Those are the 3 things that I watched, and then I just decided to go to the last few seasons because I remember all these episodes pretty fondly.
Yeah, I remember the Savage Land episodes when Professor X was able to walk because his powers were so I remember all of that. So, and even when Cable came,
Mr. Sinister,
Nimrod, all of that, Sinister, the Sinister Saga. But we're geeking out right now. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm actually really excited about this too, and I know that you are a MonsterVerse fan, just Dominic. So the MonsterVerse movies are streaming together again only on Max. Shout out to Max because they are doing the thing. Only on Max. Warner Brothers is hoping to increase profits for their IP or intellectual property during the month of March 2024. More than 50 new movies have been added for subscribers to Max to stream. The new titles happen to include all 4 of the feature films that are part of the MonsterVerse per Screen Rant. That includes the 10-year-old movie that kicked off the franchise by Gareth Edwards in 2004, the Godzilla movie in 2014. Also included are Jordan Vought Roberts, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. Kong Skull Island in 2017. Michael Daugherty's Godzilla King of the Monsters in 2019, and Adam Wingard's Godzilla versus Kong in 2021. Some films are individually available on other platforms, but Max is the only streaming platform to have all 4 MonsterVerse films streaming, making HBO Max the premier platform for their cash cows. So I'm looking forward to seeing these. The new film brings back let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. The MonsterVerse movies reuniting on Max comes ahead of Godzilla Kong, The New Empire hitting the big screen. The new film brings back Godzilla versus Kong, Helmer Adam Wingard, imagining Godzilla and Kong becoming unlikely allies when they are faced with a mutual enemy in the form of a powerful new titan. It remains to be seen how much this new film will make in theaters since the theater recession started, though collectively the previous MonsterVerse movies have pulled in close to $2 billion in worldwide ticket sales. If Wingard's new film keeps this up, chances are there will be another MonsterVerse movie coming in the near future. I'm looking forward to this. What are your thoughts on this, just Dominic?
Well, I'm loving it, and just as you said, I think Max is really smart to say, "Hey, we are the home of the MonsterVerse." There's nothing else out there that can compete with this. No other studio has monster movies like this, and beloved monster movies. Like my parents talk about being teenagers and going to these movies when they were teenagers, and they still love these movies today. It has transcended any generation. It is definitely a part of American the movie genre. It's definitely a part of what we do and what we've been doing for a long time. So I think it's really smart that they have kind of cornered the market on this, and they decide, oh, we'll release this one over here and this one over here to make a couple extra coins. This new movie that's coming out, I don't really know the villain, so I'm not super excited about this villain. I knew the villains from all the other 3 movies. I completely understood and related to this. So this is a little bit new to me. What I would like to see is the son of Godzilla. Y'all remember Godzilla had a son and they were all on Monster Island and trying to figure things. I'm looking forward to that being redone.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
That would be
I'm
really
here
cool.
for it. I love this version of Godzilla.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed Monarch. I thought Monarch was a really smart way to kind of continue on and expand the universe, and also kind of like bring in new aspects of the universe. So yeah, that was really really cool because we got a little bit of a backstory into not only Godzilla but also the characters that were in. Because we always look at the monsters, right? We don't look at the people that are in it because they're all gonna die anyway. Right. Who cares about the people? But it was really really cool to see another aspect of Godzilla in that aspect, or at least the backstory of the other characters. So that was really really dope. And just even getting to know, because I know you were really heavily into that universe, and I had I've watched it when I watched the shows, or not the shows, the original movies, but it was like kind of like just like, oh, these are my toys that I got that my parents got me, and I was just seeing it on TV, but I didn't know the backstory of it. So Monarch really helped with that. So that was really really cool. Thank you guys for coming through. We'll talk to you later, Keats. I see that you're heading to bed. Get some rest and watch the replay. We'll see you on the other side.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on. This came in like literally this week, so we don't have too much information on this. We're just gonna touch on it real quick, and as it develops, we'll give you guys more information on it, possibly more next week if something develops more in it. But The Last Airbender, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of The Last Airbender. Not that M. Night Shyamalan crap that came out, the original Last Airbender, the cartoon, and you guys know that they did a animated series. Well, they just announced Netflix just announced that they will be renewing The Last Airbender for 2 more seasons. So we have and the 3rd season will be its final one. And so they are doing the entire series, which is actually really really good. So it looks like Avatar Avatar: The Last Airbender, the anime-inspired live-action series, will be able to tell the story of the four nations: water, earth, fire, and air, after Netflix renewed it for a further 2 seasons. The streamer has handed the show a 2-season renewal order to conclude the story of Aang's journey to become the Avatar. It comes after the show premiered on Netflix on February 22nd and recorded a 41.1 million views in its first 11 days, topping its TV list for the last few weeks and being on track to enter its top 10 most watched list over its first 3 months. The plan is to film these 2 seasons, season 2 and 3, in close succession in order to mitigate the fact that child actors tend to grow up quickly. So this is going to be really, really dope. I'm actually super, super excited about this. And they do need to hurry up because, again, like they said, usually we saw this in Stranger Things. Like, the kids grew up really, really fast. They're in their 20s now. And so they're supposed to be playing kids and teenagers, and they're growing very, very fast. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they continue on with this and making sure that they stick to it as accurate as possible to the original Last Airbender TV show on Nickelodeon. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Do you have any thoughts on this, Dominic?
I do. Well, they've already veered off. The series already veered off from the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, number one, the comet played a much bigger character and role in the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
As we know, everything happened within 1 year, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. Everything for the animated series happened within 1 solid year. It was a jam-packed year for these kids.
Mm-hmm.
But this, clearly, the comet, they barely mentioned it. They left out some other side stories, some smaller stories for season 1. We did not see him start to waterbend. That's something that we saw a little bit early on, that he started waterbending very early. So we still have to get the waterbending, earthbending, and obviously firebending. So I'm interested to see how they're going to change things in order to make this story work. I'm very happy, though, that they ordered 2 and 3, so these kids, they can quickly get into production and complete the whole thing while they're still relatively young. Because who knows when they're going to come back to film season 2? We don't know that. There is no date yet, no production date. Stories haven't been written. Executive producer hasn't chimed in to give his foresight on what's to come. So there's a whole lot that's a whole lot of missing pieces that will soon come, I believe, in the next few weeks. So I'm excited for it. I love this series.
Yeah,
love,
this series was
love
dope.
the animated series, everything about it.
Yeah, and I love I do agree with you. There was some things missing, but there was only like 6 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. There wasn't a lot of episodes. Was it? Yeah, there was like less than 10.
Only 6.
Yeah, there was only 6. Okay, yeah. So I mean, to fit an entire, I think the Nickelodeon version was like 20 something episodes or whatever. It was a lot.
Been 18 to 20 something.
Yeah, there was a lot of episodes in the first book. And there's a lot that that they had to shave off. There's a lot that I get it. Because Katara should have learned how to control or use waterbending a little sooner before they even got to the Northern Water Tribe. So I was a little shocked that she didn't do that. And Katara was supposed to be helping Aang with waterbending in that, and so I was kind of she only became a master by the time she got to the Northern Water Tribe. So she had this whole journey of developing and growing in that. So that was interesting.
Didn't see.
Yeah, that we didn't see. And I don't know if it's because they didn't have enough time, or that, this was a pilot. They didn't know if they were going to even, if they, I don't know how much money the budget was for their thing. So, I get it. And also, we stayed on the Kyoshi Island too long. That I didn't know why we were on there so long. And I can only assume that it's because the Kyoshi warriors don't have powers, or you know what I'm saying, like they're warriors. Like, so I can only assume that was the case, and it's less what do you call it? Less cinematography that they have to do, less special effects. So, I know that they had to play it smart, but there was, and when they got to the Water Tribe, the Northern Water Tribe, like Aang was supposed to already know waterbending, and then he was supposed to amplify into when the moon spirit was slaughtered.
Correct.
So he was. So we only saw him waterbend when he became an avatar and went to the avatar state. Sorry, we're spoiling this. I'm so sorry. Spoiler alert.
It's true though. It's true. For those that haven't seen it, you've been living under a rock.
Yeah,
according to Netflix
at this point.
So, and then we're not giving away everything either. So, but there's just so much to come and so much we didn't see.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand all the scenes for the sister, the crazy one.
Azula?
We didn't need any of that.
Yeah,
Azula. We didn't need anything from her because she was not a part of this first book.
She wasn't.
They could have replaced
there until book 3, if I'm not mistaken, until the Fire book. Until when he was getting ready.
She comes in when they go to the Earthbending Nation. Then she appeared. Remember?
Yeah, but I felt like this season, if we're gonna get really critical, we'll do it. We need to do a podcast on it. We'll just do a podcast on it.
While they were doing Azula stuff, they could have been showing Miss Thing learn how to waterbend and
that part. That's my opinion. I agree with that. Absolutely. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into. That's gonna do it for the Maverick Alert. Let's go ahead and get into blurred news. And shockingly so, we have some news that is not just DC and Marvel. So let's get into this here. Let me close this. I'll give my notes here. All right. So first up, blurred news. So the iconic movie theater chain files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So this movie theater chain that started over 100 years ago in the silent film era files for bankruptcy. The iconic movie theater Metropolitan Theaters Corporation has filed for Chapter 11 protection to reorganize its business affairs, which will include restructuring and possibly rejecting theater leases. Company president David Corwin wrote in a bankruptcy declaration. The Los Angeles-based movie theater chain on February 29th filed its Subchapter 5 bankruptcy petition in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Central District of California in Los Angeles, listing about $26.5 million in assets and liabilities. Regal Cinema owners Cineworld struggled during the pandemic and afterward, closing over 50 Regal theaters and finally filing bankruptcy in September 2022. Cineworld, the second largest theater operator behind AMC, emerged from bankruptcy July 31st, 2023. Studies are showing that the movie theater industry has continued to struggle to get people back into their brick and mortar properties after the COVID-19 pandemic, and now more than ever they are seeing the smallest crowds in 100 years of doing business. Will the movie theater industry ever regain its once powerful position in how families are entertained, studios make profit, or will streaming continue to reign supreme? What are your thoughts?
You cannot change the flow of water, right? The flow of a river and expect the same results. That's what happened. The flow of how, right? The river has been changed. The flow has been changed. A lot of people are now subscribed to every streaming channel platform out there. And they're like, hey, that is my movie budget. So if it ain't on one of my streaming channels, then we'll wait.
Right. Because I'm not going to pay $100 and something for 4 people to go, or for 2 adults and 2 kids to go to a movie theater that potentially is not up to standard that I feel comfortable with. I have to wait in lines and I have people around me. You don't know what behavior people are having. You don't know if other kids are going to be acting ridiculous. When I can just stay at home, spend $20 something on a streaming app or less for the month. And get and create or put the same amount and put get popcorn, all that stuff, and put the same amount that I would into building my own entertainment area, and invite my own people and invite my own friends. and we watch the movie. So they have a lot that they have to work on because this is getting crazy. This is not a good thing. And if they're smart, they will figure out a way to stream directly to people's homes and maybe have that as like a pay-per-view type thing. I think that would be the best
to do that. They're trying to do that, but as we see that if a movie is declared a box office flop, they rush it to streaming. And that's what we all have been counting on. They did that with the Marvels. They did that with every superhero movie that we have seen, and not just superhero movies. Peacock doesn't really represent superhero genre, nor does Paramount. But a lot of the movies that they've released in theaters are sitting on their streaming platforms 6 weeks after it comes out.
Yeah.
So like, it's not that long to wait.
It's not, because before we would have to wait 4 months before we get a DVD to come out.
Right.
So now we can get it directly to our homes like that without even having to go to the store and picking up the DVD or Blu-ray. You can, and then now we can have it delivered on Amazon once it's released. So it's like there's so much convenience now happening, and I don't think people are behind the curve when it comes to that. So I don't foresee movie theaters like being the same. I think that we will still have movie theaters because people like the vibe of movie theater, and there's something about movie theater popcorn. But once you learn how to do it at home, which I did myself, you don't need that either.
No.
Once you learn how to make movie theater popcorn, it's easy.
It's crazy to hear over the course of 100 years that most people have been going to movies. So we're talking about the early 20s, right? When silent movies were still in vogue. Yeah. These are the smallest crowds. The population was smaller 100 years ago. Crazy. So to hear that the crowds going back are smaller now than they were then is insane.
Yeah.
The writing's on the wall.
Watch out for it, y'all. Be careful. And I think that this is an attempt for some, like you said, you mentioned, because you hinted at the fact that like people are like, well, I don't want to go to the movie theater, and it's forcing them to put it on streaming because I'm going to watch it anyway. So if it flops in the movie theater, they have to rush to recoup the funds, which they're able to do on their streaming platforms.
Exactly, and that's the pattern that we see now. It's a flop here, but then it's a hit over here.
Yeah, because look, even the Marvels did really well on Disney
streaming. Yes.
Something to say. Anyway, next up, let's head over to Paramount Plus, or Paramount. Discovery panel hints something special in season 5, Gorn Gong Show, and more. Star Trek Cruise Day 7. The Marina of the Seas spent the last day of Star Trek the cruise speeding toward Port Canaveral on Wednesday. While passengers and celebrity guests were busy packing and setting their bar tabs, they also had a chance to spend their day in the most extraordinary way on the unconventional voyage. The big panel of the day was the Star Trek Discovery, for Star Trek Discovery, but there were also more fun activities across the ship. For the first big panel of the week, the cast of Star Trek Discovery gathered in the Royal Theater to reflect on the upcoming 5th and final season. Longtime cast members Sonequa Martin Green, David Ahila, Doug Jones, Anthony Rapp, and Mary Schifo. Forgive me for mispronouncing her name. Welcome season 5 newcomer Eve Harlow into the fold in a panel moderated by Dr. Aaron McDonald. The panel was made more special by Eve Harlow's perspective as a performer who hasn't done numerous cons and panels before. It was a rare chance to look at what the fandom is like from someone new to it. With the new season of Star Trek Discovery set to begin on April 4th, 2024, audience members were eager to hear that the final season would soon play out. I am looking forward to seeing this. I am saddened, but I am looking forward. What are your thoughts?
The same. I understand that after they wrapped on season 5, they were given the word that it would be their last and final season. And so Star Trek and Paramount said, you know what, we need you guys to come back in for another few weeks to retape some stuff and to wrap up this whole thing. So it sounds good. further in the article, it talks about Sonequa Martin Green hinted that they are talking to Paramount about a movie. So season 5 could possibly be a feature film. And I am here for it because I don't think that you can call the actors back in for 3 weeks to reshoot some scenes to completely wrap up that season.
Yeah.
And the series, I should say, the series. The
Yeah.
series was just getting off the ground to me. The past 3 seasons, it really came into its own. So it's really, it was it was discouraging and frustrating to know that they were wrapping on this. And I know they're moving ahead with 2 new series, Starfleet Academy and Section 51. I think that's what they're focusing on. But it's great to hear that the journey is not over and that they are in negotiations to do a Discovery movie, which I am also very much here for.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, we got to move quickly because we're running out of time. But let's get into Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, Dune 2 jokes box office with mighty $82 million debut. Like Dune Part 2 is riding those massive sandworms all the way to the top of box office charts. Director Denis Villeneuve, forgive me for mispronouncing his name. Villeneuve's big budget sequel has collected $81.5 million in its domestic debut and delivered a mighty necessary jolt for struggling movie theaters. It's the biggest opening weekend of the year and the largest since the Barbie movie. Buoyed by positive reviews and glowing word of mouth, it has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes and A on CinemaScore. Dune 2 seems to have expanded its fan base beyond sci-fi buffs and arrived on the higher end of expectations. All the international box office, the sequel added at the international box office, the sequel added $97 million for a massive global tally of $178 million. That is crazy. Part 1 ended its run with $402 million globally, making it one of the only financial wins from the studio's pandemic-era hybrid release strategy. Will Part 2 surpass its predecessor? My God, that's actually really good news for Warner Brothers. And it's also really good news for some of the movie theaters, but I don't think that it's going to be a saving grace for the movie theaters. I think that people just really enjoyed Dune 2. And I think it's going to get even higher once it goes to streaming anyway. So I don't think we're gonna see, like, these are one-offs, like stuff like Avatar and Dune and like they said, what was the other one? Barbie. Those are like mega hits. Like those are things that people have been decades in terms of fan building. Barbie has been an icon since in every little girl's home since the dawn of time.
Boys.
And some boys, Eddie. Right, but Dune has been a huge sci-fi breakthrough for a lot of different people and have been in a lot of different homes for nerds for a while too. So, we're not going to get something like that all the time. So,
no.
This is but this is good for Dune 2. I'm actually happy about it. I'm hearing
it sounds like it's going to pass the first one.
Yeah,
already it's close to 200 million globally.
It's almost halfway there.
It's halfway there, just about.
Yeah.
And looking at today's numbers, it is.
What are your thoughts on it? Have you seen it yet? I have not seen it yet.
I have not. The article that I read suggested that the best way to see this is in IMAX.
Oh.
They say it's absolutely stunning in IMAX. Regular theater is nice as well, but they said IMAX is going to give you an eyegasm. Just seeing all of it. And I can imagine it's beautiful. Just watching it on TV. You're watching it on my large screen TV.
Yeah.
It's absolutely stunning. To see it on IMAX, it has to be worth the trip. So I see why people are saying, okay, I don't want to watch this one on my streaming platform.
Yeah.
I'll watch it later, but I want to see this on an IMAX theater because that is an experience. And we all know you go to IMAX, it is absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely. I wonder if they have an IMAX like dinner theater. I would love to go go for
Right?
that. Yeah, I'm gonna
That
look
would
that
be
up.
nice.
That would, you know, take myself on a date.
There
So,
you go.
all right. Let's head over to really quickly to DC, and then we're gonna take a quick commercial break because we had to pay some bills, and then we're gonna get into CC Pounder. But head over to DC. Wendell Pierce was cast as Perry White. Now, for those who don't know who Perry White is, he is the editor-in-chief over at the Daily Planet for Superman, and we've been seeing a lot of castings for Superman Legacy, which is James Gunn's Superman Legacy. So the fact that he picked Wendell Pierce is really, really dope. Number one, because number one, representation, and number two, I just like Wendell Pierce because I think he's just a really good actor, and I think that he would fit really, really well in this. So the actor will lead the Daily Planet as boss to Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Great Caesar's ghost, Perry White, has been found. Wendell Pierce, perhaps best known for his work as a detective on HBO's crime series, The Wire, has been cast as the iconic editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet in James Gunn's Superman. Pierce is known for his role in Waiting to Exhale and was most recently seen in the Amazon series Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, where he played Clancy's mainstay character James Greer. He also did a stint on Star's Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. Congratulations to Wendell Pierce on filling the shoes of Lawrence Fishburne in this most iconic role. Shout out to him. Thoughts?
Absolutely. This is so cool. I would have never picked him to play Perry. Never, ever would have picked him to play this role. It was odd to see Lawrence Fishburne in the Snyderverse as playing this character, because we have never seen a black man play this character before.
Right.
So and Fishburne did a fantastic job. He really set the groundwork and the foundation for this newer version of Perry. So I am absolutely 1000% here for. I know he can do it because I loved him in Waiting to Exhale. He was so horrible.
He was horrible.
So to see him playing Perry White, I think he could really, I'm sure he could do a good job. He's a phenomenal actor.
And this kind of goes to show what we were talking about before. And shout out to, I'm looking at the numbers, shout out to those who are watching on X, formerly known as Twitter. So thank you guys for tuning on in. I'm seeing a growth in that. So on the board here. So thank you guys for tuning in. But yeah, I just love the representation. I love that they could have gotten Lawrence Fishburne to do it, but I think that he fits the mold a little bit in terms of the look and feel. Obviously, race swapping is going to be the difference, major difference. But I think he can handle it because he was a douchebag in Waiting to Exhale. So I think he can handle this. So yeah. And he
convinced me he was that guy. He was so crazy convincing. Oh, I love this. I love this animation. He will probably look very similar to this.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to what they do with this. So shout out to James Gunn on all of this, and shout out to DC for what you guys are doing. I'm not gonna we're gonna give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, we got Black Superman coming. We got Perry White. So Mr. Terrific. So, we see you. We see you.
Okay, we'll see what's going on. We'll see what's going on.
We know what you're doing.
All right. Well, that's Blurred News, you guys. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna get into the one, the only CCH Pounder. Just Dominic has a lot to tell us about this one, so we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Because self-care should be luxurious. Luxe Noir.
Hey pilots, did you know that you can now catch the electrifying sounds of Bulletin Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, You heard it right. Tune in to the high-flying beats and soaring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bullet in Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn." Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bullet in Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bullet in Flight Radio.
We're back, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, do me a quick favor, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. It does help the algorithm, and you can go ahead and join the Mavericks and become a part of the Pyro Media family, as well as a pilot. If you are listening on Bullet in Flight Radio, thank you so much to the pilots over there listening in. We thank you and we appreciate your time. You can always head over to pyromedianetwork.com to listen to all of the other shows on there if you want to join in on the shenanigans. Also, if you're feeling so inclined, go ahead and bless just Dominic and I with a Cash App. You can it's not easy doing all this, y'all. It's a lot of work, so we appreciate your support. You can hit me up at Kwame C86 on Cash App, and that's Kwame C as in Charlie, and the number is 86. And you can hit Dominic up with Dominic L Pruitt, and that's 2 T's on the Pruitt. All right, spell it right. All right, appreciate you guys. All right, let's go ahead and get into some Maverick talk, y'all. We have a wonderful person coming on in, and we have had this series. This is the final time, right? We're doing this, Dominic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the last in our series, but just so you guys know, I want to make sure that you guys have access to the entire series. So I'm going to put the link inside of the oops, wrong link. There we go. I'm going to put the link to the Unusual Mavericks playlist. And for those who are listening on Bullet in Flight Radio, you guys, the pilots over there, you guys can come over and fly over to the to the Pyro Media Network YouTube. And then when you get over there, you'll see all of the playlists under Pyro Media Network, and you'll be able to see the Unusual Mavericks playlist there. But just so we can do a quick history review, we talked about this amazing king here, Halim Flowers. He was the first that we talked about. We also jammed with Afua Richardson. We also talked about Matt Baker. Hey, Matt, how you doing? We also talked about Dr. Sheena Howard. Shout out to that queen. We also talked about Aletha Martinez. Shout out to her and all of her contributions. And the one, the only, the great influencer himself, the Dwayne McDuffie. Shout out to him and his legacy. We also talked about Sanford Green. And we also talked about Natasha Bustos, as well as Loiso Makizi. Shout out to him. We also talked about Robin Smith. Shout out to her. Jamal Campbell. And all his accomplishments. Nyla Magruder. Anthony Piper. Hey, Anthony. How you doing, sir? And we talked about Phil Lamar as well. We also talked about the legendary, the goddess herself, Cree Summer. Okay? Relax, relate, release. And we also talked about the king, Keith David. What a voice. My God. And Dominic's boyfriend, Carrie Payton. Talked about Carrie Payton. Hey, Carrie. Shout out to him. We also talked about Kevin Michael Richardson, and we also jammed with Anika Noni Rose, the dream girl herself, and the princess, Tiana. And we also talked about Kimberly Brooks and her major accomplishment, which I had no idea half of the stuff that she did because we don't honor these voiceover actors. So shout out to her. Dorian Harewood, shout out to him. He did some amazing, awesome stuff as well. And T.C. Carson, the legendary T.C. Carson, who voiced so many amazing different things. The living single man himself, shout out to him. We also, and last but not least, talked last week about Gary Anthony Williams. Shout out to him. And this week we are finishing off this amazing series. We cannot wait to tell you what we have in store next. But until then, we're going to be talking about this amazing, legendary, phenomenal queen. And the question is, just Dominic, who is CCH Pounder?
That's right. Mm-hmm. So, everybody, if you're wondering who CCH Pounder is, let me tell you. The CCH stands for Carol Christine Hilaria, there we go, Pounder, born December 25th on Christmas Day, 1952. She is Guyanese-born. She is a Guyanese-born American actress. She's best known for her voiceover work as Moat in the Avatar franchise, the billion-dollar Avatar franchise. That's really interesting that we know certain people. We knew Sigourney Weaver was a part of it, but we didn't know CCH Pounder was a part of that series.
You know what that's about.
So I know that's right. And of course, she is best known for voicing Amanda Waller in various DC media, as well as Captain Claudette Wims in the FX police drama, which is a live action drama, The Shield from 2002 to 2008. She has received 4 Primetime Emmy Award nominations for her roles in The X-Files, ER, The Shield, and the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. That was an HBO series that starred Jill Scott. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. It's pretty awesome. So a little bit more about Miss Pounder. Miss Pounder is the voice of Amanda Waller, and she voiced Amanda Waller in the animated show Justice League Unlimited from 2004 to 2006. She reprised her role in later in many DC Comics media, meaning video games and just other shows, animated shows as well. She has lent her voice to Aladdin and the King of Thieves, True Crime, Streets of LA, Gargoyles, the classic series Gargoyles, playing Desmona, whatever her name is. I saw Demon and I was like, girl. Anyway, and Coldfire. And Coldfire, which is very interesting. And in 1999, she lent her voice to Batman Beyond, that classic series, as the anchor person. In 2000, she lent her voice again to another classic animated series called Static Shock, where she played the mayor. In 2003, she lent her voice again, and if you guys haven't seen this series, it's actually really cute. The Jackie Chan Adventures, where she played Miss Kimberly. It's really cute series. Pounder also has lent her voice to the HBO film Unchained Memories, reading from the slave narrative in 2003, which she was also nominated for a Emmy Award. I mean, she may have won for that. I'm gonna have to check that out. You guys can have to check that out, but I believe she won for that. So from 2004 to 2006, again, she returned to lend her voice to the Justice League Unlimited series as the outstanding, amazing agent, Amanda Waller, the infamous Amanda Waller, and including some of the DC movies, Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, which was absolutely amazing. She had a huge role in that. And in the video games, Batman Arkham Origins and Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate, as well as Batman Assault on Arkham. Classic video games. They're just really legendary and very successful video games that she lent her voice to. In 2010, she won an Audio Award for her voice work in the Nelson Mandela Favorite African Folktales Check it out. It's out 2010 and was amazing. 2014 again, she voiced Marion Grange in Beware the Batman. 2015, she did the voice of Claudette Kane in Archer, a very beloved animated series as well. And she had to play her part in the Lion King series. In 2018, she voiced Kongwi in the Lion Guard. Last but not least, in 2002, she lent her voice as Moat in Avatar, The Way of Water. And she is reprising her role as Moat in the upcoming releases, which are scheduled for 2025, Avatar 3, and coming in 2029, Avatar 4.
Yes.
What a legend.
What a legend. What a legend. And I'm going to be dropping the link if you want to know more information about her, so you guys can go ahead and check it out. What a legend. What a way to end the series, though. Like, she is just really like a powerful voice, and like she has a commanding voice, and I really admire people who
and presence
and presence too. There's a regalness about her that you just
absolutely
you definitely she commands a space. But what I appreciate about voiceover actors is that they're able to use their gift in such a way to manipulate their voices to create other characters. So it's a talent. It's not easy. So and to do it without any type of audio engineering is really, really dope. So the fact that she's lent her talents to so many different characters is an honor to even just be experienced.
And she set the tone for Amanda Waller. The first time we've ever seen Amanda Waller was her.
Yeah, she brought Amanda Waller to life. In my opinion, I'm sorry. We love you, Viola, and I think that you're gonna do phenomenal.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Viola has taken notes from how she's played it. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
CCH Pounder, you are one of our favorite queens. We love you.
Yes, and I hope that you continue to glow and grow in that. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what the next what you have in store next, Dominic, in terms of the next series that we're going to be doing. You kind of mentioned to me a little bit about it, but I'm not going to spoil it for everybody. You'll see next week. But yes, I'm super excited to see what's going on. I hope you guys enjoyed that series. It really is something that took a lot of work. So I want to thank Dominic for putting that together. It's a lot of work to research these people and to really kind of bring honor to those who we don't normally see, or we don't even really give credit to. Like Dominic said, CCH Pounder was a part of the Avatar series, and we didn't even know that she voiced Moat, which was she's a very prominent person. She's the high priestess of the colony. So, but that's here nor there. So we'll leave that alone.
I didn't even catch it. And I always catch her voice because it's so unique.
It's so unique.
She reminds me of an Eartha Kitt in a way. Yes. She's just so awesome with how she enunciates.
Yes. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, y'all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you want to continue to follow us and let us know what you want us to see, if you have any ideas or thoughts on adding stuff to the show, definitely like, share, and subscribe. And you can go ahead and follow us on Pyro Media's YouTube. You can also listen to our reruns on Bullet in Flight Radio, the #1 progressive Christian and inspirational radio station in the world. So definitely check them out as well. There's a lot of great content on there as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Do you have anything else before we go?
No, just stay unusual, everyone. Stay unusual.
Peace.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.